Utah. Congress passes the laws and has the money. Like the legislature is in charge of the state police in every state. This is total criminal dictatorship by the bankers. And they're just hiding it in plain view. We've got to impeach Obama. The video's coming up. I'd seen the longevity product. Okay, Sean said that his internet completely died. That's never happened before, he was telling us. We hope it's just a snafu. But we are launching a movement here to supercharge the impeachment. Now, Chuck Norris came out in WorldNet Daily last week and did his analysis and also used Infowars information and said that clearly this newest executive order is preparing for martial law. Another congressperson has come out in the Orlando Sentinel and said they've done an analysis, and this executive order isn't if we get nuked, like the old one said, for martial law. It's for any reason, including the threat of an emergency. Sean, you've got the floor. Continue breaking down why we need to push for a movement to get impeachment going, because the ball started to roll. Now it's going a little bit faster. If we just do it, these crimes are so open, we've at least got to publicly say no to it, or they're setting the precedent to go hog wild.
Right. No, I mean, we have to recognize that there is no difference between the Democratic and Republican parties as they now stand. We've been taken over by these two factions. They're ruled ultimately by the same people, which is the financial elite and oligarchy. And if we as the people do not rescind the power and say we are capable of impeaching the president, that is the most empowering act that we as American citizens can do at this point. It's not to go to an election and vote for one of the two parties that are being, promulgated upon us. It's to say, no, you have violated your contract with the people, Obama in this case. We're going to lay out the points that we're basing his impeachment upon. And to say that we are not going to stand by and allow you to take away strip us of our civil rights, put us in a position of constant warfare and fear of warfare, and the continued bailout of a banking system for debts that we did not accrue as people. I mean, ultimately, we know that these debts that are being paid to the banks and being, the leverage that's being used against our economy, against our future, is not accrued by us. We're not benefiting from this. The American people are not benefiting from this. It's a small little faction based out of Europe and Wall Street, which is an extension of the British Empire. And that's it. That's what he represents. So impeach him, take the power back to the hands of the American people, and then say, whoever comes in next, you better be afraid. We're not going to be afraid of you. You're going to be afraid of us. Right? That's the whole point. That's what at least the Nixon impeachment worked on psychologically, was the sense that we don't trust you. And if we, the next president that comes in, you should be a lame duck in our hands. Now, unfortunately, Kissinger was still there and all the, the bad guys were still around for his administration. But there was still a feeling, at least, of empowerment at that moment. I
think you've hit the heart here, Sean. It is an American tradition of common sense not to trust government and to keep government in line because, like fire, it's a dangerous servant, fearful master, as George Washington said. Instead, Obama is this cynical liar who said he wouldn't hire lobbyists, wouldn't hurt whistleblowers, the most open government, was going to do all this. He's lied about everything. He's such a cynical liar, he makes Bill Clinton look honest.
Well, that's what's so dangerous about him. That's precisely what the danger is. It's a cult leader. It's someone who's mastered his voice tone. I mean, frankly, if you listen to him, the first time I heard him, I said, "This is an actor you're dealing with." He doesn't sound. His voice pitch doesn't sound like it sounds like it's trained. It doesn't sound natural to me, right? And so the tone of his voice is what hypnotizes crowds. So they sit there and they go, "Oh, he's so smart. He sounds so intelligent." Well, yeah, it's about how you present yourself. It's not actually what is he. Meanwhile, he speaks with one tongue about, as you said, whether it's not allowing political lobbyists or allowing what's the word, transparency on the bills.
No signing statements, a week to read the bills, and right. He does the opposite. Not going to sign the NDAA, does sign it, says he didn't want the power, turns out he ordered the power. I mean, just total, it's so Machiavellian. I mean, there'll be like 9 levels of lies. With Bush, it would just be in your face, I'm doing this.
Well, as you pointed out, when you made the Obama deception 4 years ago, KRS-One was the guy who said, this country was on the verge of revolution against Bush. We hated Bush. It was so open what he was doing, and in terms of the neocon movement behind him that was going towards these imperialistic wars, and in the Patriot Act, all these things were obscene. But at least it was like we knew it. My dad made a film called W about it, and so I got to point out a lot of the impeachable offenses that he made. But at that time, What should have happened was we really needed a president who was going to stand up like an FDR or a Lincoln and say, you know, we're going to basically take the strong executive, start to actually bring, you know, help our people, support, build infrastructure, to, you know, support the technological uplifting of our people again, and re-encourage industrialization, all these things that will basically lift the level of the working man and the middle class. And instead you get a guy who says that and ultimately works for Wall Street and works for the British Empire, which is Obama.
And he's trying to pass all these carbon taxes and putting it through without even passing it to shut down what's left of our economy. Our economy's dying on the table, and he's stabbing it with an ice pick going, let me take care of you. You're not feeling too good? We're going to come back with Sean Stone, folks. This is your chance to take action. We're going to premiere this video on the other side. Impeach Obama 2012, that's the political slogan. That's the point. That's what we've got to start pushing. And we'll break down what's in the video and then get to it straight ahead with Sean Stone. Okay, Sean Stone is our guest. We're about to premiere this video that we've been working on for a week and a half. And the title of the video, it'll be live the next 20, 30 minutes at YouTube in an article that Kurt Nimmo just finished at Infowars.com. We're going to call the article Obama Impeachment 2012. We're going to call the video Impeach Obama 2012. But it's Impeach Obama 2012 movement. Just like Coney 2012. But this is a grassroots situation. We don't have the State Department and every corporate media whore system pushing it. It is up to you to get this video that we're about to premiere out to everybody. And again, this idea is with Sean Stone. The audio you're going to hear is his narration with the video and the different clips here. Sean, we're about to go to this video here in a moment, but any other points you think that are important to make, or we can make them when we come back?
Yeah, I mean, just the one thing I remember is, you know, from the beginning I was suspicious of Obama, and I'll tell you specifically, I was at a dinner with the wife of Rupert Murdoch, and she hosted this, and so there was quite a few wealthy individuals there. And this is 2008 in the summertime, coming into the election. And we were asking, you know, well, what do you think? What do you guys think about the election? Do you care who wins, if it's McCain or Obama? And the attitude was, no, we didn't want Hillary to run. And if you recall, there was some fraud going on in those elections in Florida and Michigan, I believe it was, that were not qualified as the electoral caucus going into the Democratic primaries.
Yes,
that was when the deal was made for Hillary to come on as Secretary of State, and that was very clearly stated to me that the intention was not for Hillary to become president, and so long as it was either Obama or McCain, there was no preference. And then one of the European, this is exactly the symptom of the oligarchy, was this guy, I won't tell you his name, but he runs a major fund of funds. They give their money to people like Soros. He kind of scoffed at when I mentioned Soros. Soros was supposed to be at the party, and it was like, Soros is a small potato, we give him money. That was the attitude of this guy. And he's, you know, Anglo-French, basically, that imperial faction that he comes from, trained in that school. He said to me in French, you know, we have no concerns about Obama except for the fact that he's black. And that was an indication, what he was indicating with me was, because he's black, there's a potential for him to sympathize with the underclass. If that was ever expressed, he could be a danger. But as far as we're concerned, everything else, he's controlled.
Well, he's shown himself particularly ruthless. He doubled the funding for basically forced abortion in Africa and a lot of other things. So that's really pleased the system. He's been really into aborting black babies as much as he can. So that I think he showed himself well to them.
Well, yeah, the point was that simply if there was ever any inclination of the man to ever have this sympathy for the underclass, you know, that comes as a black man in America, a minority, or, you know, whether it's Latino or black, but there's this historical revolutionary tendency, as we know, right? If that ever showed it in itself, he would have been offed. And that's why consistently throughout his presidency, remember, they always had this potential for an assassination plot. And that was to trigger a race war, as you've commented on the Trayvon case?
Yeah, and now they're doing it. It's incredible. I've always said Obama could be the false flag, but they have been caught. MSNBC, the White House, the Justice Department, trying to start a race war, and now they've got these feds out there saying, let's get white blood flowing. You know they're feds. Anybody else would be arrested.
Yeah, all these are exactly the kind of conditions they're trying to create. At the end of the day, they are because they are opening up these doors for martial law and creating on the books these precedents. I mean, why would you announce, for example, that you assassinated American citizens unless you're trying to put out a warning to people to say you are next? You know, you have to understand that. So why would they even announce that? Why not just...
Why would they have the head of the CIA 3 weeks ago come out and say, we're watching and listening to all of you without warrants. We don't need warrants. And last week, Congress said, we want to know about these giant new NSA bases. And the executive said, literally go to Hades. Right. Congress was told, you don't get to ask questions. We are the bosses now. I mean, it's happening.
They need to set the precedent. And the point is, it's psychologically breaking the American people down to the point of, this is 1984 and Brave New World all in one. You know, we're telling you the truth, but you're so distracted by American Idol and what Kim Kardashian and some celebrity is doing that you don't give a damn that your country is no longer a republic. And if you don't take that power back, let's see where we are in 5 years. Let's see how horrible it can get, because no one expected that, you know, Nazi Germany would end up becoming as horrific and destroyed as it was. I mean, people weren't aware of the concentration camps, you know, per se. They weren't, you know, they were aware of the wars. They were aware of the austerity programs that were being done to them. But they believed in the sacrifice for the homeland. So the point is, where is this going to end? We don't know. All we know is that we are on a course to hell right now. And, you know, with that, I would say you present the video.
Well said, my friend. Is it not heartening, though, that we've now got at least 10 different Congress people talking about Obama trying to set up a police state and introducing impeachment legislation? Chuck Norris came out and wrote a WorldNet Daily article plugging my show and saying I was right in my research. And
Chuck Norris, the action hero?
Yeah, I mean, I've had Chuck Norris on the show before, but the point is Chuck Norris went against the other WorldNet Daily writer that said, oh, this executive order's no big deal. But in Chuck Norris's article, he admitted that Bush was bad and engaging in imperial-type activities, but that Obama was trying to overthrow the republic itself. I mean, that really shows that Chuck is starting to wake up. My point is there's major buzz on all this.
There is, and let's intensify it now. Let's bring the pressure, because if we put the pressure on them, the point is that this is how you basically destabilize their takeover. The more awareness you put on them, the more you basically back them into a corner. Whatever they do now, we're there pointing a finger. You see, that's the only way you defeat these guys.
And speaking of that, that's why we're going to go to this video right now and then go to break and come back and comment more. But here it is, Impeach Obama 2012, the video, the audio for radio listeners. Get this out to everyone. After the video, it'll be posted at Infowars.com with a red link as the top story. We've produced it. We've put it together. It's now up to you. I hand the baton to you, the Info Warriors.
March 7th of this year, Representative Walter Jones of North Carolina introduced House Resolution 107 into the United States Congress. The resolution states, whereas the cornerstone of the Republic is honoring Congress's exclusive power to declare war under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of the Constitution, now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives, the Senate concurring, that it is the sense of Congress that, except in response to an actual or imminent attack against the territory of the United States, the use of offensive military force by a president without prior and clear authorization of an act of Congress violates Congress's exclusive power to declare war under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of the Constitution. Jones intended his resolution to express the sense of Congress that the use of offensive military force by a president without the prior and clear authorization of an act of Congress constitutes an impeachable, high crime misdemeanor under Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution. Why does President Barack Obama deserve to be impeached? Here are 4 reasons.
Doing little or nothing at all will result in even greater deficits, even greater job loss, even greater loss of income.
1. The Obama administration not only endorsed the 2008 bailout policy, the funds from which did not go either to homeowners or for taxpayers' protection, but rather to the consolidation of private banks, many of them in Europe. There was no investment of any meaningful